After many physical exams and simple questionings, I was finally released from the hospital 3 days later. I was relieved, as I was sure I would have gone insane if I stayed any longer. As I was walking down the crowded street, my hand felt for the small note in my pocket.
Can't talk here. When you are released, come by the Frog's Leg pub.
I had made arrangements with the head warrior to meet with him immediately after my release. Since I was able to walk on my own, my curiosity was getting the best of me. What was so important that the head warrior couldn't tell me back at the hospital? I quickened my pace. There was only one way to find out. Not long afterwards, I arrived at the infamous Frog's Leg pub. It was mostly occupied by civilians, although some secret agents did come on occasion due to its proximity to the secret HQ. I personally had never been to the pub before, therefore I didn't have a valid opinion of it. As I stepped inside, I started to get a picture as to why the head warrior had chosen to meet here. Despite it being packed, there were a line of separate booths along the wall, which offered some privacy from the public. Whatever the head warrior wanted to tell me, it must have been extremely sensitive. It only deepened my curiosity of his refusal to meet at HQ. At the far corner, I saw the outline of the head warrior. I casually made my way over, as I didn't want to attract any unnecessary attention. The man looked up at me and silently invited me to take a seat. As I was about to sit down, I abruptly had the sensation of being watched. I scanned the room through the veil of my hair, but didn't see anything suspicious. Finally, I turned my attention to the head warrior who was looking at me with a questionable glance. "I thought someone was watching me," I stated. The head warrior nodded, as he understood my precaution.
I wouldn't be surprised. There are phantom agents everywhere.
With that, he briefly stood up to pull the cover over our booth. We both sat, and he went straight to business.
I know you must be wondering why I asked you to come here, Agent Moore.
He began. I nodded my head in confirmation, and allowed him to go on.
There have been many cases in which reports were made to Secret Headquarters about sightings of phantom agents. The dispatched secret agents were either killed or MIA.
He paused and took a brief sip of what I assumed was beer. He set the glass down and continued.
After your experience with your last mission, Secret Headquarters made some inquiries into these situations. It turns out that your partner was not actually who he claimed to have been.
The older man stopped again as he waited for my reaction. My face remained blank. Therefore, he took that as a cue to carry on.
The body of the real Agent Michaels was found strangulated in a dumpster yesterday. There was no time to warn you.
That time, my eyes widened. After a few minutes of taking in what the head warrior said, I finally spoke. "You're saying that my partner was actually a phantom agent sent to kill me?" The head warrior nodded.
That is what Secret HQ believes. He is dead now, so we cannot explain as to why the phantoms bothered killing him when you were their supposed target. Perhaps it was a plan gone wrong, or maybe there is more to their intentions than we know.
I frowned as confusion filled me. That really makes no sense. Why bother killing their own agent? What proof does Secret HQ have about the Phantom's intention of eliminating me? The head warrior gave a small shrug.
I honestly don't know. I am merely telling you what Secret HQ told me. The directors are on the alert now more than ever after the head scout's murder.
He paused as if to recollect himself.
Look, there are many reasons why the Phantoms will want to eliminate you. Perhaps they see you as a threat. You and I both know just how deep your roots with the Seekers go.
I stared blankly at the head warrior. A bit of annoyance boiled beneath my skin. I didn't need any more reminders of my past than were necessary. "That was a long time ago," I said quietly. Luckily, the head warrior didn't seem to have heard me. I remained silent as I reflected on what I was told. I then took a deep breath and willed myself to maintain control. "What do you suggest me to do?" I asked quietly. The head warrior looked at me in slight pity.
I would advise you to return to Secret HQ and receive your next round of orders. After that, go home and rest. It has been a long day for you.
I didn't bother to say anything, so I stood up, and I was about to leave when the head warrior called me.
One last thing, Agent Moore. Beware of your surroundings. You will be around people you will assume can be trusted. However, you never know who they really work for.
He simply said. I glanced at him momentarily, and then nodded. With that, I left the older man to finish his drink in silence. As I opened the main door, the feeling of being watched crept onto me again. Instinctively, I turned and scanned the entire bar. Once again, I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. Even as I walked away, I couldn't stop the shivers, as the hair on the back of my neck stood on end.